Vitamin B12 is also known as cobalamin. The name cobalamin derives from cobal, from the word cobalt, plus amine, from the word vitamin. During the 1930s, researchers were trying to identify an anti-pernicious anemia factor. Pernicious anemia is a relatively rare autoimmune disorder that causes diminishment in dietary vitamin B12 absorption, resulting in B12 deficiency and subsequent megaloblastic anemia. Vitamin B12 was discovered simultaneously by two research teams, one in the United States and one in England. It was not until 1956 that the chemical structure of this complex vitamin was revealed. Compounds having B12 activity have cobalamin as part of their name. In the human body, the active coenzyme forms of vitamin B12 are methylcobalamin and deoxyadenylyl cobalamin. Vitamin B12 is the most complex of the vitamins. The B12 crystals are a striking dark red in color. Vitamin B12 supplements are usually in the form of cyanobalamin, which is easily converted into the two active forms used in the body. One function of vitamin B12 is to convert homocysteine to methionine. The methylcobalamin form converts homocysteine using an enzyme that also requires folate. When folate gives up a methyl group, the methylcobalamin coenzyme becomes reactivated. This is important because homocysteine is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease. The methionine that is converted can go on to become part of S-adenosyl L-methionine. S-adenosyl L-methionine is a methyl group donor that can protect DNA and plays role in cancer prevention. The deoxyadenylyl cobalamin has an important role in the production of energy from proteins and fats. Vitamin B12 is essential for the maintenance of the nervous system and for the synthesis of molecules involved in fatty acid biosynthesis. Vitamin B12 is also needed to maintain the myelin sheath that surrounds nerve cells. Vitamin B12 is one of the nutrients required for the synthesis of hemoglobin, the oxygen-carrying pigment in blood. Vitamin B12 is needed for DNA synthesis in the rapidly dividing cells of the bone marrow. Lack of vitamin B12 or folate can lead to the production of large, immature hemoglobin-poor red blood cells. This can result in pernicious anemia. Vitamin B12 is normally bound to protein in food. Vitamin B12 is released from a protein by the digestive action of hydrochloric acid and pepsin. The stomach then makes an intrinsic factor that binds to the vitamin B12. In the intestines, the complex of intrinsic factor and vitamin B12 is slowly absorbed into the bloodstream. Once in the blood, transport of vitamin B12 is dependent on specific binding proteins. Circulating vitamin B12 is recovered by the liver and returned to the intestines in bile. Most of this vitamin B12 is reabsorbed from the intestines. Because of this efficient recycling, most people do not develop a deficiency, even with minimal intake. Deficiency of vitamin B12 is not usually from lack of intake, but rather from lack of absorption. Inadequate hydrochloric acid in the stomach will prevent vitamin B12 from being released from dietary proteins, so it cannot be utilized. Lack of intrinsic factor can also prevent absorption. Intrinsic factor, cobalamin-binding intrinsic factor, also known as gastric intrinsic factor, is a glycoprotein produced by the parietal cells or chief cells of the stomach. They are necessary for the absorption of vitamin B. Pernicious anemia results from inadequate absorption of vitamin B12, which can be caused by damaged stomach cells. It is most common in those over 60 years of age. The damaged stomach cells cannot make enough hydrochloric acid and/or enough intrinsic factor. Even a more than adequate dietary intake will not help because the vitamin B12 is not absorbed through the intestines. With pernicious anemia, vitamin B12 must be injected or absorbed through membranes directly into the bloodstream via a nasal spray or absorbed from under the tongue. It may take several years to develop deficiency symptoms as vitamin B12 is efficiently recycled. Whether the deficiency is from poor absorption or from a diet low in animal products, onset of symptoms is typically slow. Folate cannot be properly utilized if vitamin B12 is low or absent. This is because vitamin B12 is needed to convert methylfolate to its active form. If folate or vitamin B12 is absent, symptoms of folate anemia can be present. Folate anemia causes slow DNA synthesis, which shows up first as defective red blood cells. Extra folate will clear up the anemia. However, if the anemia is due to lack of vitamin B12, then the nerves will continue to suffer damage from lack of vitamin B12. In this way, folate can be dangerous because it can mask a vitamin B12 deficiency. Deficiency of vitamin B12 first shows as a paralysis that begins in the extremities and moves inward. Correct identification of vitamin B12 deficiency can prevent permanent paralysis and nerve damage. Remember that there are no symptoms of anemia when folate levels are high and only the vitamin B12 levels are low. Adults need only 2.4 micrograms of vitamin B12 each day. This tiny amount provides enough for all of our needs. Vitamin B12 is found only in foods made from animal products, such as meat, dairy products, and eggs. It is also available from nutritionally fortified yeast. Vitamin B12 is also found in many fortified vegetarian foods, such as soy milk. Vitamin B12 is also made by bacteria in the colon. Vitamin B12 is easily lost through leaching into water while cooking. One unusual thing about vitamin B12 is that microwave cooking inactivates it. Cooking in the oven or in soups and stews preserves the most vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 naturally found in these foods per serving as whole wheat bread, 92 grams, oatmeal, 175 grams, noodles, 140 grams, spinach cooked, 180 grams, broccoli cooked, 78 grams, carrots cooked, 78 grams, green beans cooked, 125 grams, potato cooked, 78 grams, apple, 154 grams, orange, 140 grams, strawberries, 152 grams, avocado, 152 grams. Please like, share, comment the videos and subscribe the channel for future health beneficial videos.